Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. In these videos I'm going to be taking you through my newest book that I have written, which is called Composing the Beginner's Guide. Now this book is designed to be used alone, so just with all the information in the book, and also it goes with some video lessons. It goes with these video lessons that you will see on my channel, plus there are some exclusive videos that are only available to those of you that have the book. And you can get to those videos by clicking the links that are inside the book. This book is 100% downloadable. This is just a version that I have printed out at home and I have just bound together. And this book is also available from the website, which is just coming up here, or I'll put a link to it directly underneath. So if you want to learn a little bit more about composing and have me take you through the basics and guide of composing, then please keep watching. Okay, in lesson 3, we're going to be talking about writing everything down. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, as I've said before, and it will largely depend on your current skill level and competence. But in today's living, we have access to a lot of modern technology which can help you. So you can write music down in the following ways, which I did briefly discuss in lesson 1. You can write it down by hand with good old-fashioned pencil and manuscript paper, as mentioned in lesson 1. The pros to that are that it's easy and convenient, no learning of technology and software, that kind of thing. The cons can be a pain in the bum just because it takes so long. It's not as permanent because it's by hand. You have to erase, rub out by hand if you make a mistake, and that can just make a massive mess on the paper and just again goes back to being very time consuming, and you may not always be able to play back what you've written or even hear as you go along like you could with some software. The second option you have is to use a computer and use music software such as Sibelius. I use Sibelius first personally, or you can use MuseScore, which are free Finale note flight music. The pros to those are that once you have the program, it's there and you have an electric or digital version of your composition that you can do whatever you like with. So you can send it to people, you can put it into PDF, you can print out as many copies as you like, you can email as many people as you like, you can email the people that are going to be recording it for you, etc, etc. Cons, you may have to pay for these programs. So Sibelius or Sibelius First, which is what I use, you do have to pay for it. You can find free ones, and for the most part for you guys they'll probably be more than fine, but because they're free they do have limited features that only give you access to very kind of basics of notation. The other kind of con with that is that they can be real beasts to learn. I know Sibelius is a real beast to learn. It's a very, very big program, and if you think that the rules of music are very complicated, as in, you know, putting the correct time signatures in, the correct beats in bars, and all of the different kind of rules and regulations that we have when we're actually playing and performing music, if you think that's complicated, you mix that in with the rules of writing things down into a music program as well, where it won't let you do this and it won't let you do that. So that can be a little bit on the frustrating side, but you know, there are lots of tutorials to get you started. There is tons of tutorials on YouTube. That's basically just how I started. I opened up the program. Obviously I've got some, I know how to write sheet music, so it was easy enough to kind of get going with, but anything more complicated I've had to just either look on Google, look in the help section of Sibelius, they've got a forum, that kind of thing. So there's lots of modern technology and lots of ways that you can get help these days if you can't use the program. Once you do get the hang of them though, they are very well worth it, and they are very, very quick to use, much, much quicker than writing by hand. I haven't written anything by hand for about the last 5 years now. The kind of third way that I suggest that you can write out your music is to use your instrument connected directly into a computer and play it in. So this, you can actually connect this piano that I've got here via USB into a computer, then you just sort of press record on your music program and you just kind of play it in. That will then translate onto your computer into the notes that you've just done. So you could, in theory, you could play in what you've done. That doesn't work quite so well with violin, but it does work, and you can do that. But it is an option, and sometimes I use those options, not very often, but I do, especially when I'm making backing tracks and things like that. So the pros, it can save a lot of time with a little tweaking here and there. So ultimately, if you're playing it in, it's much quicker than, you can actually physically play in a lot quicker than you can write stuff. You can speak a lot quicker than you can actually write stuff down. The cons, it's great if you can keep in perfect time. If you can't keep in perfect time, it's where it all goes wrong, because if you're not keeping in perfect time, then the music programs will write down exactly what you have written, but you'll have loads of ties over the bars because you haven't been exactly on the beat. So if you do want to use it as sheet music and you are very out of time, then it's fine, but you're going to have to be moving notes to the correct beats that they're supposed to be on in the bar. Like I said in the pros, it can save a lot of time with a little tweaking. So if you're ever so very slightly out of time, then usually you can just tweak a few little bits. But if you are really out of time and really behind the beat, it's going to be no good, because you will actually spend more time tidying it up where you could have just spent that time writing it kind of all in by hand. So you may want to kind of dip in and out of that one and use that for certain things that you might want to do rather than composing as a whole. But the two main ways are either doing it with good old-fashioned pencil and manuscript, just doing it the handwritten way, or using software. So that is pretty much it with lesson 3, writing it out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on lesson 4 when we're going to be talking about instrument limitations.